Hey there and welcome to No Recipe Required. So I've got another potato recipe for you tonight. Potatoes are among the perfect side dish. I love mashed potatoes, I love French fries obviously. They're all great. This version here is a roasted potato. We're going to blanch them off quickly to just kind of parboil them, then finish them off in the oven. What we end up with is this crispy, nice outside and a soft, tender inside. It's absolutely perfect. Let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, let's get going on our Lyonnaise potatoes. I've got two here, kind of Yukon Gold, the waxier potato. I've done it with rusty. You can do it with almost anything, but I prefer these just a little bit. And we're going to slice them up. Now, I like to go ahead and slice a, I don't even know what to call that, a disc off one side. So now I've got a nice flat side, and I take this piece and go in half. So I kind of got two half moons. This is a shape I prefer for this type of potato. The flat sides get kind of nice and crusty as we cook them in the pan. To get the rest of the potato cut, we've got a nice stable end now. Go straight down and then just dice or slice along the side, about 1/4 inch pieces, 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch. Oops, you try to hold them together as long as you can. Let me put that guy back up. And then I'm going to do this with 2 potatoes. That's probably enough for 3 or 4 people. And if you're doing it like I am ahead of time, just take them and put them in a pot of water. This is the pot I'm going to cook them in to keep the potatoes from turning brown. And you can easily do this, a couple hours ahead of time. Okay, for our potato Lyonnaise, we need some onion. So I'm going ahead and I'm going to slice probably 2 to 3, depending on how much you like onions, into nice little slices like this. And we're going to saute them, or actually start to caramelize them, on the stovetop in a little bit of olive oil. Get them nice and browned, and then we'll add those to our potatoes. All right, I've got my onions sliced for our Lyonnaise potatoes. I'm going to add that to a nice hot pan with a couple tablespoons of olive oil. And this looks like a huge amount of onions. This is, I think, 2 good-sized onions, but they're going to cook down quite a bit. It's probably going to take 20 minutes or so to get them cooked down. We're going to want to get them to a nice kind of golden brown color before we're done with them. Once they're in there, give them a few tosses to coat everything. I just added a little bit of salt, and then you just kind of let them turn every few minutes, or turn every 4 or 5 minutes until they're fully cooked down. Okay, for our potatoes Lyonnaise, once we've got our potatoes sliced up in these half moon shapes, I'm just going to add them. Obviously, I've got them in water. Put the pot on the flame, room temperature water, and bring them up to a boil. Let them boil for probably 5 to 10 minutes or so until they're just starting to get tender. Then we're going to drain them. We're going to add some onions, break them off, or finish them off on the stovetop and in the oven. Okay, you can see my onions now. They're nice and brown, that caramel, well, not quite caramel color, but certainly a nice golden brown, maybe chestnut color. That's pretty close to what they should look like. You can certainly let them go longer. You can let them go a little shorter. Be totally fine. You can notice how much they've reduced. They were mounding over the top of the pan. Now they're way down here. So this is definitely the time. You can start actually should have started the potatoes maybe 5 minutes ago. I should have, but I haven't. It's totally fine. You can do these onions ahead of time. You can turn it off. Just let it sit here until the potatoes are done. Not a big deal. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll get the potatoes done. We'll come back, put it all together. Okay, I'm liking where my onions are, so I'm going to go ahead and remove them from the pan. Now, if yours are like mine, you've got a good bit of olive oil that's still obviously left in the pan, which is absolutely fine. We're going to need that olive oil. But what you can do is just tilt the pan and pull them off into a little plate like this. And once I get all the onions out, we're actually going to line the bottom of this same pan with our potatoes that are blanching off or parboiling off. And then we're going to start adding the potatoes back. And essentially, as those potatoes cook, they're almost going to fry in that little bit of olive oil and get a nice crispy crust on them. Let's come back once we have the potatoes drained and we're ready to add them to the pan here. Okay, I've got my pan here. Removed my onions. I've drained off my potatoes. Now I had enough olive oil left in the pan here to give it a nice coating on the bottom. If you don't, you definitely need to add a little bit more. I'm going to take half my potatoes and essentially do, that was a little more than half, but that's okay. We'll toss a couple back. They are hot. We'll give them a quick toss in the pan to give them that coating of olive oil. And then just spread them out so that we've got, as close to one layer as possible. And then we're going to hit it with a little bit of pepper and salt all around. And then we're going to layer our onions right on top. And you just kind of spread those around. And what essentially, like I said, is going to happen is we're going to end up with a nice crispy bottom layer of potato where it's frying. I've got my pan on medium high heat. Then we're going to take our potatoes and do another layer right on top. And again, hit it with our onions. Spread all around. Doesn't have to be anything super nice or neat. And then once more, we'll hit it with a little bit of pepper and salt. Then I'm going to let this go on the stovetop just until I get that nice crusty bottom layer, or get it started. Probably 5 minutes on 5 to 8 minutes on medium-high heat. And then we're going to stick this into a 400-degree oven to cook the potatoes all the way through. Alright, so my potato Lyonnaise is fully cooked. You see the knife slips in and out very easily. One little potato there, but trust me, it's cooked. But it doesn't quite have the crust that I want. Frankly, big deal. I could serve it like this and it would be great. But you can also get the crust very easily. The goal is not to follow the recipe. The goal is to get the dish the way you want. So I took it out of the oven, put it back on the stove, and just put it on high heat. I'm going to get that bottom nice and hot. I've also put the stove on broiler, and so once I get this hot for a couple minutes and cooked on that side for a couple minutes, I'll just slip in the broil and let the top get a little crustier. Okay, we've got our potato Lyonnaise, nicely crisp up on top, up on bottom. Don't worry about those edges. The potatoes, I guarantee, are absolutely delicious. I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.